Nitai Gaur Premanande, Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja ki, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Yuga Dharma Shri Harinam Sankirtanam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Хорошо, больше. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om 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 Jnanatimirandasya Hinanjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Namovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Varamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschathyate Satarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Prabhupada Tirabhav Mahotsava Ki, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. So today we have a wonderful opportunity to glorify our founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Vyasa Puj and the Tirobhav, both festivals, the appearance and also disappearance, are most important for all disciples of a guru, and in this case followers or grand disciples of Srila Prabhupada, that we use this day and absorb ourselves in memory and thought and prayers to these great personalities, and of course in Srila Prabhupada takes a very special position in the life of every devotee. Because Srila Prabhupada, being the founder Acharya of ISKCON, we all have a unique, special relationship to Srila Prabhupada, and these days are very auspicious because we can try to deepen our relationship with Srila Prabhupada. And I'll just try to talk a bit about the meaning of Tirobhav. And then we'll try to speak some glorification of Prabhupada, and then maybe also read some Prabhupada Leelas. That's the plan. So let's see. So of course, first of all, because when we speak of Tirobhav Utsav, Tirobhav refers to the disappearance, and then Utsav means a festival. Now, if someone leaves, it doesn't feel like a festival, because there is great pain. We just, in our community, we just experience this pain of separation, as our dear Rajamani Prabhu just left. So naturally, when a Vaishnava leaves, this is a great pain. But still, it's called Tirobhav Utsav, a great festival. So it's kind of, seems to be a little bit contradictory. So on one side, it's a great loss and great pain, but at the same time it's also a great celebration, because a Vaishnava, has a very glorious destination. And of course, what to speak of pure devotees, great personalities like Srila Prabhupada, who directly come from the spiritual world. Actually, it's described that their appearance and disappearance is not different from the Lord's. Just as the Lord appears and disappears, similarly the Vaishnavas, they appear and disappear, and their disappearance is not ordinary. It's like it's described in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. It says, a Vaishnava does not take birth under the jurisdiction of karma law. His birth and disappearance are transcendental. The wise have declared that the servants of Vishnu are eternally engaged in the liberated service of the Lord, and hence are free from the laws of material nature. So the Vaishnava have no birth, no death, and no bondage of karma. They are the dear servants of Lord Vishnu, and therefore they are not ordinary. No. And it's described just as the sun appears on the eastern horizon and then again disappears at the western horizon. Similarly, the Vaishnava appears and again disappears from our vision. But it doesn't mean that they are not existing anymore, right? Like the sun just appears and then afterwards disappears. We don't see the sun anymore, but it doesn't mean that the sun ceases to exist. It's just our vision. So similarly, Vaishnavas, like Srila Prabhupada, great acharyas, of course, in fact, every one of us, every living entity is eternal. There is nothing like death, actually. It's not existing for the soul. And of course, we understand Srila Prabhupada was a greatly empowered personality. And he came here, was sent by Krishna to fulfill a purpose, and then again it disappeared according to the sweet will of Krishna. And in Prabhupada's case, you do have confirmations. There's different Prabhupada disciples tell the story. I was not sure whether Bhavananda or personally spoke to Prabhupada, or at least Tamal Krishna Maharaj also tells the story how Srila Prabhupada, while he was being messaged by disciples, and then Prabhupada started to speak about this, he said that actually Krishna had asked me to come to the material world. Prabhupada said, Krishna told me. I was there with Krishna in the spiritual world. And Krishna told me, you should go to the material world. And Prabhupada said, no, please Krishna, this is a horrible place. Material world is a horrible place. yesterday, Damodar Prasad and myself, we were reflecting how this world is really a horrible place, so painful. It's actually such a nasty place, the material world. It's full of pain, full of misery. So Prabhupada, being a liberated soul in the spiritual world, no, I don't want to go to this horrible place. And then Krishna told him, saw the hesitation and said, it's okay, I will take care of everything from the beginning to the end. I will be with you, and you only have to go there and to write books. That's all. You just go there and write books. That's your mission. And then, okay, then I will go. And of course, out of his compassion also, Prabhupada agrees to go to help the conditioned souls. And it's nicely, just as, so Prabhupada got the instructions to write books. So Prabhupada was not a conditioned soul, he was a specially empowered personality. And he did even more than that Krishna asked him. Just like Hanuman got the instruction by Lord Ram to go and find Sita. And he did, he found Sita. But he not only found Sita, but he also burned down Lanka. Right? He was catched, and then they put his tail on fire, but then he used that and he burned all Lanka. And before he left, he jumped back. He called out, Ravan, you fool! I'm just a simple servant of the Lord. I'm just a servant, and see what I did. Wait until Lord Ram is coming. He will finish you up. The whole dynasty will be destroyed. So Hanuman did some extra service. So similarly, Prabhupada, he not only came to write books, but he actually created a revolution. What Prabhupada did is amazing. Prabhupada came. He wrote his books, and he established the Krishna conscious movement, and by that he touched the heart and the lives, changed the lives of thousands of people, actually millions of people, whose life has been transformed, has completely changed, all due to Prabhupada's compassion. So Prabhupada came into this world, and then he disappeared from our vision. Just as the sun still exists in another place, so Prabhupada certainly he left in 77, but he also is still existing and still very much present, even for us. And although it's a great cause for lamentation for us, losing such a personality, at the same time it's also a great celebration, because we know that Prabhupada returned to his eternal abode through Shri Krishna. So, still that pain that one experiences, especially when the spiritual master leaves, is very great, and we spoke about this previously, but in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4 Canto, chapter 28, text 47, actually the section we are right now in the Bhagavatam, we find this description of how Puranjan in his next life as a woman loses her husband, right? And then she's crying. And then Prabhupada says in the purport, when a mortal body of the spiritual master expires, his disciple should cry exactly as the queen cries when the king leaves his body. Okay, I have to speak a little slower for the translation. However, the disciple and spiritual master are never separated, because the spiritual master always keeps company with the disciple as long as the disciple follows strictly the instruction of the spiritual master. This is called association of Vani, the words. Physical presence is called Vapu. As long as the spiritual master is physically present, the disciple should serve the physical body of the spiritual master. And when the spiritual master is no longer physically existent, the disciple should serve the instruction of the spiritual master. So naturally, the disappearance of a Vaishnava is is very painful. We have this description in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Once Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Roy, what is the greatest sorrow? Dukkha matye kona dukkha haya kurantara. Which sorrow is the most intense? And Rai Ramananda, without any hesitation, immediately he said, Krishna Bhakta Viraha Vina Dukkha Nai Dukkha Para. Being separated from a Krishna Bhakta, a dear devotee of Krishna, is the most grievous sorrow and unhappiness. It's the greatest pain that one can experience if one is separated from a Vaishnava. And we find this in the past times also when, Haridas Thakur left. Haridas Thakur, he had a desire to leave before Mahaprabhu. He felt like he could sense, he could feel that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left very early. He left at the age of 48. I'm 46 now. 3 months I'm 47, and then 48 is young, So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only spent 84 years on this planet. So and of course Haridas Thakur was already older, and he could sense that Mahaprabhu is soon leaving, and he felt, I don't want to experience the pain of seeing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leave. I will not be able to tolerate that pain. So therefore, better let me leave first. I want to leave. So he told Mahaprabhu, I have a desire, I want to leave. And I want to leave my body while looking into your moon-like face, seeing your lotus-like eyes. Seeing you, I want to, and chanting the names of Krishna, I want to leave my body. And of course Mahaprabhu, he was bound by the love of Thakur Haridas. If he has a desire, if he was such a dear devotee of Krishna, if he has a desire, nobody can do anything about it. And of course, first Mahaprabhu said, no, it's not possible, you're a great loss. But then Thakur Haridas said, what is the, if a little insignificant ant dies, what's the loss of the world? So if I leave, it's no problem. Very humble mood. But then when Thakur Haridas actually left in that glorious way by keeping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet on his chest and calling out the name of Krishna, leaving his body, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Kripakari Krishna Mura Diya Chila Sangha Svanantra Krishnira Icha Koila Sangha Banga Haridasera Icha Yabehi Oila Chalite Amara Shakati Tandre Narila Rakite. Krishna was so merciful to me that he gave me the association of such an elevated devotee, Paramahamsa. Such a dear devotee of Krishna, who was always with Krishna. Getting his association, I felt that I was with Krishna. Now Haridas Thakur has disappeared, and the pain in my heart is most grievous. So the disappearance of such a dear devotee is very inauspicious. Therefore, Mahaprabhu cried. So one must cry because the most grievous pain, the most grievous distress one can feel at the disappearance of a Vaishnava. And why is the disappearance of a Vaishnava so painful? Because in the association of the Vaishnavas we feel Krishna's presence. And that's basically what we need. We should cry for Krishna, that's the thing. We should cry for the association with Krishna, because that's the only thing which is missing in this world. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that in this material world there is only one thing is missing, and that's Krishna. It's Krishna consciousness. That's the only thing is missing. This is all the only thing we need. And if we have the association of devotees, Vaishnavas, in that association we always feel shelter, we feel actually Krishna's presence, because Krishna is in the heart of the devotees, and because the devotees are free from ego, they don't have a false ego, they're very humble, and they become a transparent medium through which Krishna manifests his presence. And in the association of such Vaishnavas, then we can feel Krishna's compassion, Krishna's love. And that's the only way we can. I mean, Krishna, of course, mercifully appears in the form of the Archa Vigraha. Krishna appears in the form of the holy name. It's described also in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna appears in different ways. Krishna appears also in the form of Ganga, Tulsi, in that sense, as Bhagavatam, and as Bhakta. But from all these different forms that Krishna manifests, the Bhakta it's for us it's most easily accessible. If we associate with the Vaishnava, that's what we can access. In the association of such Vaishnavas, we can feel Krishna's presence. And if we lose this association, it's very painful. Of course, as we heard in this purport, even if the Guru leaves, then Guru still will be present through his Vani, and especially in Prabhupada's case, Prabhupada often said that once there was an interview with some press conference, and one journalist raised a good question. He asked, Swamiji, who will be your successor? No, who, once you leave, once you die, who will maintain this movement? What was Prabhupada's answer? Famous? I'll never die. Prabhupada liked to play with the journalists. Prabhupada, that was Prabhupada's unique, also one of the unique characteristics that Prabhupada, like if you have a conversation, the person asks something, usually you answer on the same level. But Prabhupada never would do that. People would ask, and Prabhupada would always answer on a different level. Especially with journalists. They would ask anything, and Prabhupada would always give some very, very spiritual, mystical, from the absolute platform message to them. And without concerning whether they actually understand or not, but he would take the opportunity to preach. Always. Like the example when they kind of questioned, why do your disciple, have such an expensive car? And then Prabhupada saying, actually my disciple should have brought me a golden vehicle. No, my car should be made of gold. Like saying something like this to the journalist, like the devotees who are trained in ISKCON communication, we would never say something like that, because we try to understand, communicate in a way that people understand us. But Prabhupada would of course Prabhupada would also do communication work, but Prabhupada often would kind of want to preach, in the sense that the disciples worship the spiritual master as not different from the Lord. And when the Lord comes, he comes in a golden vehicle. That's why the Guru should be given a golden car. And in this situation, who will be your successor? Prabhupada said, I will never die, because I will live forever in my books. That was Prabhupada's answer. I'll never die. I will live forever in my books. I will always be in my books. So that means we can always associate with Srila Prabhupada through his books. By reading Prabhupada's books, we get directly association. And also Prabhupada instructed his disciples that, if you read something and you don't understand, it's not that you just go to Prabhupada, please explain. No, you read it again, and you read it again, and you read it again, and then you will understand. So Prabhupada encouraged to study deeply and read. And all the answers you will find in my books, Prabhupada said. So in this way, the spiritual master is continuing to teach his disciples and followers through Vani, and of course also through his disciples. And Guru actually, when Guru leaves this place, he continues to instruct his disciples, and sometimes he does it in a different form. The Guru actually can appear, or he can manifest through other devotees, through other Vaishnavas, through other sadhus. Guru can speak and instruct his disciples. Like, someone may use his Guru, but then there is some Diksha Gurus or some senior devotees, and our own Guru can actually use these devotees to instruct the disciples. And we will feel, we cannot see that, oh, actually, my Guru wants to tell me something through that Vaishnava. Because there's a nice statement by Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj. He says, the Guru's passing away is only apparent. The Guru is always there. I am eternally his disciple and he is eternally my Guru. His passing away is only apparent. He's always with us. We have such a loving relationship. Although he's not present here, although he's gone back home, back to Godhead, from that Braj Bhumi, eternal Goloka Vrindavan, he has his eye on his dear disciple and takes care of him. Although the spiritual master is somewhere in the spiritual world, but he still watches his disciples. Which disciples? Those who follow his Vani, not the others. So these are some thoughts on the Tirobhav and the disappearance of a Vaishnava. Now, on such a day, we glorify such Vaishnavas, and I think even last year I spoke the same thing, but I think it's okay now. I happened to come to notice a song, a poem, a Bengali poem written by His Holiness Jaipadaka Maharaj. And I really fell in love with that song, which is amazing. Yati Prabhupada Nai Hoite. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened to us? That's the Bengali poem. It's beautiful. And it's nice, no? Usually we sing Vaishnava bhajans from Narottam Das Thakur, who lived 500 years ago. But here we have a poem of a Vaishnava who is still with us. It's nice. And it's such a nice poem. Let me see, I don't know whether I'm able to sing it. I'll see whether I can remember the melody. Yadi Prabhupada na hoite tabiki. There is a specific melody for this, but I can't. Someone knows this, the melody? Yati Prabhupada nai hoite tabekiya hoite ejivana bahite kishe nitai korena apara karuna kidi tita sakala deshe. Yeah, something like this. We leave the singing part. We leave the singing to the singers. So, but the message is very deep. It's very nice. So it says, if Srila Prabhupada had not come, to the West, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? And it's a nice meditation. No, today we're sitting all here with tilak on our forehead and kanti mala on our necks, chanting Hare Krishna and practicing devotional service. But what would have happened if Prabhupada would not have come? I mean, what would we do in our lives? And we can remember what we did before Krishna consciousness, then we know the answer, right? We'd lived just some, miserable material life. And yes, most of us who had some spiritual inclination, so most probably we would be it's in some kind of spiritual maybe community somewhere else, maybe not. But to be so fortunate to be connected to our parampara, such a glorious tradition, to be able to practice pure devotional service, being connected with this path of Bhakti Yoga, it's amazing. And this is because Prabhupada came. Who else would have distributed the unlimited mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world? No. Who else would have distributed the mercy of Gaur Nitai? And as you know, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, we have the prophecy that in every town and village on this earth, the glories of my name will be chanted, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And it was Srila Prabhupada who fulfilled this prophecy. There's a nice statement here. When Srila Prabhupada finally traveled to the West, he brought with him the Yuga Dharma, the process that would transform the hell of material world into Vaikuntha. He called this process devotional service, a complete lifestyle centered on chanting God's holy name and performing other services for Him. Starting with 40 rupees and a trunk of books, Srila Prabhupada started an international movement comprising temples, farms, schools, and multiple volumes of books published in all major languages. Arriving in America at the flag end of his life, within 12 years he made Hare Krishna a household phrase and sowed the seed of a cultural and spiritual revolution destined to change the world. This was Prabhupada. Then the song continues, it says, which other compassionate person would have endeavored to deliver the miscreants, sinful, impersonalistic and voidistic people in the West? Which other person would have done it to come? Who else would have come to distribute Harinam to them? Who else would have come forward to transform them into civilized beings? Transform them into civilized beings. And if we realize a little bit about Vedic culture, and then we compare our Western culture, we know what this means. As Mahatma Gandhi was once asked about, what do you think of Western culture? And he said, good idea. This would be nice, yeah. He was asked, what is your opinion about Western culture? And he basically said, there's no culture existing in the West. It would be nice if the West would have culture. Because what is culture? Culture is an expression of consciousness. Like the kind of consciousness someone has is expressed, or like a collective consciousness of a group of people is expressed through culture. And that's the beauty of Vedic culture, because the consciousness is Krishna consciousness. Krishna is in the center of everything, and that's why the Vedic culture is an expression of that bhakti, of that devotion. And we can see that, in art, in dance, everything about Vedic culture is Krishna-centered. And therefore it's so beautiful. And also the way people treat each other, the way, the etiquette, the behavior of people, how they interact with each other. It's all based on a culture of respect and understanding that Krishna is the supreme. We are all brothers and sisters, and we are all eternal spiritual souls, and therefore we are all respecting each other. It's a culture of respect and humility. And we can, talking of, culture, we are very fortunate actually here in Zurich that we have this connection to the Tamil community that we have. Speaking of Rajmani Prabhu, they're so cultured. Like, we can see in many of them, they have such culture. such respect, such humility, which is just part of their natural being, their lifestyle. So much respect, so much humility. But in the West, we don't have that. What is our culture? It's lost. I mean, there was culture, but it's really lost. So when Prabhupada came and he transformed, as Prabhupada himself would say, hippies into happies. He was asked, what happened if everyone would join the Hare Krishna movement? Everyone would become happy. Hippies become happies. Who else would have taught them how to worship the deity from Lord Hari, day and night with Arti Kirtan, and how to conduct the Ratha Yatra and other grand festivals? That's culture. No, that's the Vedic culture that we live. They worship all the wonderful festivals that we celebrate, because these festivals, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, these are the mother of devotion. By coming together and celebrating these Vaishnava festivals, this encourages and nourishes our hearts. It increases our devotion by celebrating together. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita contain the essence of the nectarian mellows of love of Godhead. Who else would have explained these scriptures so clearly and beautifully? And of course, this is Prabhupada's main contribution to the world, that he gave us these books. And not any books, but these books that, as is described beautifully here, Premamrita Rasa Sara. Sara means the essence, and Prema Amrita, the nectar of pure love of God, the essence, is all there, especially in the Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Prabhupada gave us these books in such a way that we can understand them. Who else would have tolerated all difficulties and distributed Harinam with a pleasant heart? And we know how much challenges Prabhupada faced, especially in the beginning, and Prabhupada just tolerated. I mean, from a Vedic point of view, like what Prabhupada did is amazing. Like the first month when he lived at the Agrawal family, he had to keep his vegetable in the fridge where they had meat. There's the meat of the. And then he had to put his sabji next to it. From a Vedic, like a Vedic Brahmana. Not possible, you can't do that. So Prabhupada tolerated a lot of, when he came to the West, he had to tolerate so many things. But still, he distributed Harinam with a pleasant heart. And who would have given us the dhams such as Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri? Prabhupada very much encouraged devotees to go to the holy dhams, to get spiritually recharged and nourished every year. Hundreds and thousands of devotees would go to Mayapur for the festival, and one devotee commented to Prabhupada, "Prabhupada, it's so expensive. Hundreds of devotees, they pay for flight tickets to come to India for these festivals. We could use that money for preaching." No? Is it really good if so many devotees come to the festival? You know what Prabhupada said? It's so expensive to buy rice and sabji for all these devotees. Maybe better we should not eat. That was Prabhupada's reply. As this body requires nourishment through rice and dal and sabji, our heart needs, our spiritual, our soul needs nourishment by going to the holy places. Prabhupada very much encouraged devotees to go to pilgrim to the holy dham, and he encouraged devotees to go regularly because he knew the holy dham is powerful. The teaching of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constitutes the greatest and most auspicious treasures. Who else would have engaged us in constantly practicing and preaching it? Shri Shri Nitai Gaur are the desire trees of love of Godhead. Desiring a drop of their mercy, Jatpataka's heart incessantly takes shelter of your divine grace. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Holiness Jatpataka Maharaj ki Jai. Beautiful, beautiful poem. So maybe we can, just to conclude, speak or maybe rather read some Prabhupada Katha. It's always nice to speak Prabhupada Katha, but I didn't really got time to prepare this class here again. Maybe we can read something. Because there is two kind of Katha. We know there is Krishna Katha spoken by Krishna, for example Bhagavad Gita, and there is Krishna Katha spoken about Krishna, Bhagavatam, right? These two kind of Katha. So similarly, when we speak of Vaishnavas, there is also, there is Katha spoken by them. When we read Prabhupada's purports, we hear directly Prabhupada's words. But there is also Katha spoken about Prabhupada, and it's equally powerful and important. Of course, we read Prabhupada's books, we read his purports, but we are very fortunate that now Prabhupada's disciples, many of them have written their own memories, their biographies about their experience with Prabhupada. And to read these books is extremely important and wonderful, because then we hear about the personality of Prabhupada, how he was, how he acted, and Prabhupada certainly was an acharya who teach by his example. Because there is two things: achar and prachar. There's preaching and behaving, and Sanatana Goswami glorified Thakur Haridas because he did both. He did behave properly and also preached. And Prabhupada certainly was such an acharya who preached by his words, but he also preached by his example, by his behavior. One book that I personally really love, which was recently published, maybe a year, 2 years ago, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story by Giriraj Swami. Amazing book. So let's see. So this is a description of, from the first chapter, arriving on the scene, a good fight. And this gives us some description about Prabhupada at the Kumbh Mela. You all know what the Kumbh Mela, right? The Kumbh Mela is this great gathering where millions of people come together. And at the holy place of Prayag to take a bath in the Ganges. Allahabad here. Prabhupada then proceeded to the Allahabad for the Ardh Kumbh Mela, half Kumbh Mela, the world's largest gatherings of humanity, a spiritual festival attended by millions of pilgrims. Our program at the Mela was austere and rigorous. It was bitterly cold at night, and we were expected to get up at 4 in the morning to bathe and attend Mangal Arti. Even in the warm Zurich temple, it can be sometimes challenging to come to the Mangal Arti. What to speak of an ice-cold tent in India at the Kumbh Mela. A few steady fast devotees such as Tamal Krishna and Hansadutta got up early by 3 or 3:30 and walked all the way from our camp to the Ganges to take an early morning bath. But those of us in a man's tent were not as staunch, and generally when it was time to get up at 4, it was so cold out that we preferred to stay in our sleeping bags. One reason I love this book is also because you really get to know Giriraj Maharaj. And I didn't know Giriraj Maharaj for many years. I knew the name, but I didn't know him. When I read this book, I'm such a sadhana, such a personality. And then I got the chance to interview him with his Books Are the Basis project. I did an interview, And then last year I got a chance to personally meet him and talk to him. He's amazing. I mean, such a sadhu. And his humility also is very much, you can, he's such a humble soul, and yeah, this comes out in this description also. But anyhow, these brahmacharis, they didn't went to Mangal Arati because it was too cold. So Prabhupada knew how important Mangal Arati and the rest of the morning program was for us. And when he noticed that some of us were coming to Mangal Arati late, and some were not coming at all, he became very upset. So one morning, even though he was somewhat frail in health, actually he was a bit sick during that time, he got up at 4 o'clock and came out in his gamsha, a thin cotton towel wrapped around his waist, sat down on the hand pump and took an ice-cold bath, just to encourage us to get up, bathe and go to the Mangal Arati. His action had a profound effect on all of us, and we felt so ashamed that from that morning on we just couldn't sleep late anymore. And that's an acharya who shows by his own example. These are young boys, and probably an old man, and he was even sick, but still he kind of showed by example. And then at the same place there was another interesting story happening. Our Pujari, Nanda Kumar, struggled along with the rest of us. He wore clothes to keep his hands from going numb, but one morning, no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't light the ghee lamp to offer the deities. There was Mangal Arati time, and it was so cold, and the Pujari was not able to light the Arati lamp. It was just somehow it was difficult. Cold gusts of the cold wind kept blowing out the matches before they reached the wicks. And when a lit match did manage to reach them, the wind would blow out either the match or some of the flames before all the wicks were lit. Nanda Kumar tried again and again to shield the matches and wicks with one hand while lightening them with the other, but he just couldn't manage to do it. Watching the futile exercise, Prabhupada urged Nanda Kumar to execute the task. Imagine, Prabhupada stands next to you and light it, and you try hard. Somehow it's just not working. One or two other devotees came forward to help, but they were too unsuccessfully. Finally, in a mood of resignation, born out of frustration, but with profound spiritual realization, Prabhupada uttered, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nameva Kevalam, Kola Nashteva, 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 Kandita. In this age of Kali, there is no other means for self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. We all knew how seriously Prabhupada took deity worship. He understood that the deity was Krishna, the supreme personality of God in himself, and he was strict that his followers maintain proper standard of worship as defined for us by Guru and Shastra. Still, in Kali Yuga, ultimately, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam. Prabhupada, when the deity worship didn't work, he said, okay, Hare Nam, it's the holy name. Should I read one, two more? Okay. This is from Bombay, actually Chopati, the place right now is the Chopati temple. Quite close to that place there is a place called Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, which is like a assembly hall, and there was an event. So, there was an event, and there were many leading gurus and sannyasis, and they all gave a speech. There was some kind of gathering of different yogis, spiritual gathering. They all gave a speech, and the Prabhupada also gave a speech. When Prabhupada gave a speech, everyone was very much impressed, very impressed. Prabhupada actually wanted to return to Juhu to work on the land matter, but everyone insisted that he addresses the audience. They had even wanted him to lead the entire 3-day conference because his age, wisdom, stature, and accomplishment elevated him beyond the other participants. Swamiji, Swamiji, one of them implored, speaking for everyone. Only you can lead us. You are the real leader. You are the only one who can solve our problems. Someone recognized. And Prabhupada made an interesting comment. That's why I'm reading it. Prabhupada says, that's a fact. But are you prepared to follow? And that was the real issue. So they glorified Prabhupada. Yeah. And then they told him, and Prabhupada said, yeah, that's a fact, but are you ready to follow? And that was the problem. They didn't. Many Indians, they all brought Swamiji, Swamiji. But when it came to follow, they usually did not. Okay, just read this one. With the first additional quarters, this was like when they started to did some construction. With the first additional quarters ready, Mr. Sethi brought him for a tour. Prabhupada was extremely pleased with the progress of the building of the temple. It was, he told Mr. Sethi, the duty of the spiritual master to provide accommodation for his disciples. And just as you are building these rooms for my disciples here at Hare Krishna land, he said, Lord Krishna is making your rooms ready in Krishna Loka. Quite powerful, no? This person was a constructor. He made construction for guest house in Juhu. And Prabhupada tells him, like, just as you making rooms for my disciples, Krishna is making room for you. Lord Krishna is making your rooms ready in Krishna Loka. I'm a sinful man, Mr. Sethi replied. How can I go to Krishna Loka? That I will see too, Prabhupada assured him. This is not your duty. I will see that you will go to Krishna Loka. Powerful. Person really got Prabhupada's mercy. Okay, the last one. 3. Yeah, that's a famous one, most probably heard it before. It's the Harikesh Chapati Lila. Harikesh could never make chapatis properly. They would never puff up. He was always blaming something. Either the stove wasn't adequate, or the flour was not good, or something. And Prabhupada was growing increasingly upset with him. Big brain, he would say, but can't make a chapati. In Mauritius, Harikesh didn't have the right flour and had to cook in a closet on a weak electric hot plate. And his chapatis were like saucers, completely flat and with the texture of rubber. Prabhupada was complaining about them, but Harikesh couldn't seem to do anything about it. This went on for months, in different places, and Prabhupada kept chastising him every day. He would say, again, no good chapati. Imagine, you cook for Prabhupada and Prabhupada is every day dissatisfied. And of course, we know Harikesh satisfied Prabhupada a lot with the book distribution, but that's just another aspect. Finally, in Bombay, there was a gas stove, but Harikesh still couldn't get it together. Again, it is the stove, Prabhupada commented. Srila Prabhupada, Harikesh said, nobody can make good chapati on this stove. Nobody? Prabhupada asked. Yes, Srila Prabhupada. Harikesh said, nobody. Prabhupada stood up, walked into the kitchen and sat on the floor in front of the stove. Where is the dough? He asked. And he took the dough, formed a ball, squeezed it onto the board with some flour, rolled out a chapati, put it on a pan, cooked it, flipped it over, put it on a flame, and nothing. Ha! Harikesh exclaimed with laugh. It didn't puffed up. Prabhupada turned slightly and just looked at him. He gave me one of these looks that could cut you into 20 pieces. Harikesh later remembered, and I stopped laughing. Then Prabhupada grabbed another piece of dough, formed it into a ball, rolled out another chapati, threw it on the pan, flipped it over, and put it on the flame. This time, it puffed up perfectly. He picked it up with a pair of tongs, looked at Harikesh, and threw it right in his face. No one can make a chapati, huh? He questioned, and stood up, just down the tongs, and walked out in triumph. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Patita Pavan Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Prabhupada Tirubhav Mahotsav ki jai. Gopranandi Hare Krishna. So we'll end here. Thank you very much. And we will have a wonderful festival today, and we get the opportunity and good fortune in the afternoon to listen from His Grace Rini Sutta Prabhu, one of the foremost Swiss disciples of Prabhupada, and he will glorify Prabhupada in the afternoon. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Go to Dr. Benki.
Yeah.
One chocolate pot.
Yes, that is. I'm getting used to your speed. Yeah, actually, when you're speaking, it's perfect. When just you're reading, it's yeah, so that's why. But anyway, I think that somewhere in Netherlands exactly speaking Russian. So
yeah, it feels difficult to find proper place.
Yes, it's also doesn't happen.